It's wild to think how quickly things evolve, isn't it?
Mm.
I mean, not so long ago, connecting online felt pretty separate from our real lives.
Totally separate, yes.
Now, especially when you look at entertainment, those lines are, well, they're practically invisible.
Absolutely. And what we're witnessing, I think, is more than just a shift to digital. It's a real merging, physical, virtual, creating entirely new ways to experience things.
And that's actually what we're diving into today. These virtual concerts and fashion in the metaverse. We've got some fascinating stuff here, looking at this whole transformation and trying to get to the bottom of it.
Right. We've been looking at how fast virtual entertainment is growing and how brands are getting involved in this metaverse landscape. Our goal today is really to look past the buzzwords.
Yeah, cut through the noise a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And understand the fundamental changes, like what tech is actually making this possible? What are the new opportunities opening up for artists, for fashion, for, all of us experiencing it?
Okay, so let's start with the basics then.
Yeah.
This term immersive experience in the metaverse. What does that actually mean day to day?
Well, at its heart, an immersive experience, it's about creating a feeling of presence. Being in a digital space by engaging more than just your eyes,
Right, not just watching.
Not just watching, it's stepping beyond viewing content and feeling like you're actually there. And technologies like virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, they're really central to making that happen.
We hear those acronyms, VR, AR, all the time.
Yeah.
Can you maybe paint a picture for us? Like simple examples of how they're changing concerts and fashion?
Sure. So think about a virtual concert with VR. Instead of just like watching a stream on your laptop.
Which is what most of us do now.
Right. You could put on a headset and bam, you're virtually right there in the crowd or even on stage, feeling the energy, seeing the band up close. Doesn't matter if you're miles away physically. It's about getting that being there feeling remotely.
Okay, that makes sense.
And for, say, metaverse fashion shows using VR, you might explore a designer's collection in this 3D virtual space, getting angles and perspectives on clothes that you just wouldn't get from a traditional runway.
That really puts you in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, what about augmented reality then? How does AR fit in, especially with fashion?
So AR is a bit different. Instead of taking you to a virtual world, it layers digital stuff onto your view of the real world, usually through your phone or tablet.
Like those filters we use.
Exactly like filters, but more interactive sometimes. In fashion, imagine using an AR app to see how, a hat looks on you in your own mirror. Or interactive ads point your phone at a poster. Maybe a 3D model pops up or a little game starts. It brings digital content into your physical space.
Gotcha. So it sounds like it's not just about the tech being cool, though, is it? What makes these experiences actually, resonate with people?
That's a great point. The tech is the platform, yeah, but the experiences that really hit home, they layer in strong emotional connection and active participation.
How so?
Well, think about stories or characters you can connect with, or maybe just digital places that make you feel something. And crucially, the experiences that really stick are often the ones where you, the user, are actively doing something, interacting with it, with other people in a meaningful way.
So who are the big players then? The ones really pushing this forward, this mix of immersive stuff and metaverse fashion?
Well, two platforms really stand out right now. Fortnite and Roblox. They started as games, obviously.
Huge games.
Huge. But they've evolved into these sprawling metaverse environments where playing is just one part of it. There's so much more going on. They've basically become these cultural hubs.
Okay, let's unpack Roblox first. It's known for all that user-generated content, right? How has that made it such a hotspot for fashion and brands?
Yeah, Roblox's strength is definitely its community and the creative freedom it gives users to build their own stuff, games, worlds, experiences.
So brands can tap into that creativity.
Exactly. It makes it really attractive for brands wanting a metaverse presence. There's actually a report by Exclusible stepping into Roblox as a brand that goes into this. And we've seen cool examples like NARS Cosmetics. They did Color Quest and Sweet Rush.
Oh, yeah. What were they?
They weren't just ads. They were these whole virtual islands. Millions of players went there, explored, talked to branded characters, even customized their avatars with virtual NARS makeup. It's that blend.
Yeah.
Gaming mechanics meeting a beauty experience. Pretty innovative.
That is a fascinating mix. Okay, what about Fortnite? We mostly know it for Battle Royale, but it sounds like it's doing more now.
Oh, definitely. Battle Royale brought the huge audience for sure, but Fortnite's also become this major stage for virtual concerts and other cultural events.
Like Travis Scott.
Exactly. That Travis Scott concert in 2020, it wasn't just him performing in the game. It was this massive dynamic event that used the game world itself. People could interact, socialize. It was a real cultural moment. 12.3 million people watched it live. So yeah, these platforms offer something unique, a way for artists and brands to connect with enormous audiences in ways that are super interactive and engaging.
It's interesting, though, virtual concerts.
Yeah.
They aren't entirely new, are they? Feels like we've seen versions before.
That's true. Yeah, the scale and the tech are way up now, but the basic idea, it goes back further than you might think. Way back in the late 90s, SM Entertainment in Korea, they were doing holographic stuff for the band HOT.
Really? Holograms in the 90s?
Yeah. The idea was to let the band be in more places, even with crazy schedules. And around then, you also had Damon Albarn's project, Gorillaz, a whole band made of virtual avatars, pushing boundaries.
Right, gorillas. So artists were already thinking virtually even before the metaverse, as we talk about it now. And then, obviously, the Tupac hologram at Coachella in 2012, that felt like a huge leap.
Oh, that was a moment, definitely. Seeing that holographic Tupac on stage with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, it showed off a big jump in the visual tech and really grabbed everyone's attention. It highlighted that potential, bringing artists, even posthumously, to a live stage in a totally new way.
So fast forward to today. What are some of the standout VR concerts happening now?
Well, we've seen some really interesting steps. Way back in 2006, Duran Duran actually performed inside Second Life. That was pretty ahead of its time for a major band.
That's Second Life, wow.
Yeah. And more recently, those Fight Night concerts, Marshmello, Travis Scott, they really set a new bar for these big immersive audiovisual shows. And you can't forget Lil Nas X on Roblox. That concert reportedly pulled in something like 33 million views in just 2 days.
33 million. That's just staggering for a virtual event. So what's the key tech making these modern concerts feel so real, so compelling?
It's really a combination of things coming together. First, you need good VR headsets, right? High-resolution screens, accurate motion tracking that's basic for feeling like you're there. Then there's spatial audio. That's huge. It creates a 3D soundscape, so music and sounds feel like they're coming from specific points around you, just like a real venue.
Makes sense.
And finally, motion controllers. They let you interact a bit, maybe clap or cheer, or even mess with some visual effects in the environment. It makes you feel more active, less passive.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit to fashion in the metaverse. It sounds like it's way more than just, digital T-shirts for your avatar.
Oh, absolutely. The metaverse is really shaking things up for the traditional fashion industry. It's become this incredibly dynamic space for digital innovation and a platform where brands can build totally new kinds of connections with people.
And we're seeing some pretty big fashion names jump in. Right?
Yep. Look at Gucci. Their Gucci Garden thing on Roblox apparently attracted 19 million visitors. That just shows the massive reach virtual fashion can have.
19 million.
Yeah. And then you have brands like Ralph Lauren creating virtual collections with platforms like Zepeto, so users can dress their avatars in RL style.
It's interesting to think about digital fashion not just as an add-on, but maybe changing how we even think about fashion. I remember reading someone comparing it to social media filters evolving.
That's a really smart comparison. Simon Windsor from Dimension Studio, they worked with Balenciaga on their game project. He sees it similarly. It's a natural next step from digitally tweaking our online look with filters. It's making us rethink what fashion even means in a digital world. And we're also seeing more AI and AR being used for new business models. Things like 360-degree virtual showrooms or even virtual catwalks with digital models.
So what are the big pluses then for doing virtual fashion shows instead of the traditional physical ones?
Well, the advantages are pretty significant. First, reach. Virtual shows can hit a global audience instantly, no limits like a physical venue. Second, interaction. You can get much deeper, more interactive engagement with consumers.
And creatively.
Creatively, the sky's the limit, right? Designers aren't bound by real-world physics. Of course, there are challenges too. You need the tech, you need to really get the digital audience.
And Exclusable seems to be pretty involved here, helping brands figure this all out.
They certainly seem to be. They mentioned doing over 200 metaverse projects since 2021, working with quite a few Fortune 500 companies. Their whole approach seems to be about blending VR, AR, AI, and gamification to bring a brand's vision to life digitally.
They mentioned a specific one that caught my eye, Hugo Boss, during Metaverse Fashion Week. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, that's a great case study. Exclusable worked with Polycount, used AI-enhanced design, and built this immersive Hugo Boss showroom in just 30 days. Pretty fast turnaround.
Wow. And where was it? What was it like?
It was hosted on Spatial.io, had this cool Miami fashion show theme, kind of blending water and city vibes. But the key thing was the integration. You could directly buy 5 of the looks right from the virtual showroom.
Ah, direct e-commerce link. Smart.
Very smart. And they added game elements too, like little quests and ways to socialize. The results were strong, over 42,000 visitors from 127 countries. Shows the global potential.
Okay, so the metaverse isn't just for events anymore. It's really becoming a serious marketing channel for brands.
Oh, absolutely. It's this exciting new space for advertising and creating these really deep brand experiences. Look at Vans World on Roblox.
Right, the skateboarding one.
Yeah, it's not just looking at Vans stuff. It's this whole interactive skateboarding world that feels like the Vans brand culture. Players customize virtual Vans, reflecting that real-world focus on personal style. And the numbers, over 107 million unique users. That's massive brand awareness and engagement.
107 million users. That's incredible.
Yeah, and there are tools now, like Exclusible's Blocks metrics, that actually track data from these Roblox experiences so brands can see what's working.
What other kinds of cool marketing things are brands doing in the metaverse?
We're seeing lots of creative stuff, like in-game partnerships. Louis Vuitton did skins and accessories for League of Legends characters. AR is being used for product demos. Sephora actually did virtual makeup try-ons in Second Life years ago, which was pretty early.
Ahead of the curve there.
Totally. And then you have dedicated virtual brand spaces like Nike building showrooms in Fortnite where you can check out and sometimes get digital versions of their gear.
It really sounds like companies like Exclusible are playing a key role in helping brands navigate all this.
Exactly. They're offering these tailored services, building the virtual shows, creating interactive campaigns, launching digital products, using their know-how to make these virtual reality projects effective for marketing.
So pulling it all together, it feels like this merging of virtual concerts and fashion shows in the metaverse. It's not just a fad, is it? It seems like a really fundamental shift in entertainment and self-expression.
I think that's right. The lines between our physical and digital lives are just getting blurrier and blurrier. It's opening up totally new ways to interact, to be creative. And platforms like Roblox and Fortnite, they're really leading the charge, providing these incredibly rich interactive worlds and a direct connection between creators, brands, and audiences.
It really does feel like the metaverse holds a big piece of the future for entertainment and fashion. The possibilities for creativity, for marketing, seem kind of endless right now. And yeah, companies like Exclusible definitely seem positioned to help shape that future.
Absolutely. We're just seeing the start of these unprecedented opportunities, I think, for creativity, for brands connecting deeply with people, and for all of us engaging with entertainment and fashion in ways we couldn't before. Exclusible, with their experience, are definitely a key player to watch in this whole transformation.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it really makes you think, doesn't it, about the long game here. How will these virtual experiences ultimately change how we think about live events or even personal style? And maybe even more exciting, what completely new kinds of creative expression might pop up as this tech keeps developing and weaving itself more into our lives? Definitely something to keep an eye on.